Yep.
All right, awesome. I also, we just moved over the weekend, and half of my life is in weird things. I don't even know where the other half is. And so I don't have like all my cool stuff, my clicker thing, all the stuff to show you. But I have a laptop and it's working. So can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right, let's do this. So first, diseases really do begin right here. And when we talk about the gut, okay, raise your hand if you've got a gut. Okay, I'm not talking about like the gut. I'm talking about like the gut. Anything from your mouth to like your exit portal. Okay, so all diseases begin here. And we're talking autoimmune diseases, cancers, pains, discomforts, infertility issues can start there. Fatigue, mood disorders, learning disabilities. All these things are directly related into the gut. And a whole lot of people, sorry, I feel like I should stand up here. I'm pretty tall and people still can't see me. We need stadium seating. Okay. So many people I talk to on the table, I get like the, hey, I really have this problem, and I have all these other issues. Can you help? And we go straight to nutrition and trying to fix gut problems. And sometimes the looks I get are like, no, I just told you I have joint pain. And I'm like, I understand that. But I also know what you eat, and you need to fix that in order for your body to actually have a chance to heal, because the gut really does get into this. By the way, there's guests in here. I'm Dr. Mark. I'm one of the owners of Rock Springs Family Chiropractic here. Welcome. I know a lot of you, but if there's guests and I see a few people that I totally don't know, welcome. I'm Dr. Mark. Awesome. The body is designed to heal. This is the premise of chiropractic. There's actually 33 principles that we teach, but this is really the big one that is very important to understand. God designed your body to heal itself, okay? So if something isn't healing, we have to find what is interfering there. But the body is designed to heal. We have been taught as a culture that it's not, that when something is wrong, there's a mistake happening and we need to drug it back. But that is a misinformation or a lie in culture. So what controls all function and healing in the body? So if the body's designed to heal itself, your nerve system controls all that healing. So if anything is interfering on nerve system, then we've got problems. So between the gut and the brain, we can actually get amazing, amazing health, which we're going to get into. So I just want to give the two different points of view here, okay? So we have allopathic medicine. Who's heard of allopathic medicine? Okay, so yeah, so allopathy is like the overarching like philosophy, I guess. So you have vitalism in chiropractic and max living, where we're on the vitalism side, and then you have allopathic, what medical doctors are trained in, or what the medical community is trained in, is right here. So they look at it as the body is a material entity, so you're a sum of its parts. And so you have the heart is separate, so it works separate from the rest of the body, and then the kidney. So you have a specific doctor for each part of your body. So you have to go to 15 different doctors for 15 different organ systems, because they view the body as a bunch of separate systems that do not work together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, and first of all, what? That doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make sense, but it does, because that's how we've been taught, right? So there is one cause to any specific disease, and so that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the cure for one thing. So it's like, okay, what is the one thing for that autoimmune condition? What is the one thing for osteoarthritis, for rheumatoid arthritis? What is the cause of that, and how do I fix that? This one is huge. A lot of you know this. You just never even thought about it. That the viewpoint of allopathic medicine is opposites. So if you have a bacterial infection, the answer is here's an antibiotic. If you have a viral infection, what do they give you? It's still an antibiotic, and then you're like, wait, I thought this was a viral, and then it's like, oh my gosh. So, and by the way, like 65 to 60, it's like a high percentage like that. You get antibiotics for viral infections constantly, and it's silly. It's ridiculous. But you have a fever, what do they give you? An antipyretic. You have depression, what do they give you? An antidepressant. So everything is about opposites. If you have one thing, they just give you the opposite, okay? And then treatment through pharmaceutical and surgical interventions. We all already know that, but that's the system that we're in. Vitalism, we just think differently. There are 3 seats right here and 2 seats right there. There's 5 seats up here if you want to come up. Meyer, bring the whole family. You guys will be awesome. Yeah. Okay. In vitalism, it's the body functions as a coordinated, energetic entity. So everything is actually working in unison. Now we got musical chairs. There's 3 right here.
Oh, okay.
Right. Perfect.
So
I just wanted to sit by her.
Awesome. Okay. This next one, the reason I'm going through this is so crucial. I feel like I need to go like this so that sometimes people can see me and I can see Dan. I love this is being recorded right now because this is so important to understand, okay? If I turn out the lights in here, right, if it's pitch black, what is darkness? What is darkness? Okay. So we have been trained that when you have disease, that's an entity, that's a thing, that disease is a thing. But really, there is no such thing as disease. It's the absence of health in that part of the body. And when you can fully understand that and recognize that diagnosis you received isn't even a thing, it's just medicine's way of putting words together and symptoms together and saying, well, we think that group of symptoms revolves around this, and so we're going to call it a disease and give it a name. But the reality is that it's just the absence of health. And that frees you up a lot, actually. It frees you up to understand that, wait, hold on here. I know I have this diagnosis, but you're telling me that I have the opportunity and the ability to heal that and completely reverse it. And that happens every single day if you give yourself the opportunity. And that's vitalistic thinking, right? And that's how we really think in here. It's like, well, no, that doesn't exist. It's the absence of darkness doesn't exist. It's the absence of light, and you've got to get that into your head. The body is always doing something intelligent. Now, this is where it gets tricky because we call it in chiropractic innate intelligence. Okay, that your body has this innate that's running it, that knows what your blood pressure should be right now and knows what your hormone levels should be, and it doesn't make mistakes. It knows exactly what you're doing. All it is doing is adapting to your environment. Okay? Now, that means that a tumor and cancer is the innate, your doctor is adapting with cancer and tumors to the environment that you put yourself in, whether it be the external or the internal environment. Does that make sense? Okay, now, how in the world can that possibly be? So let's make just one example here. It's my favorite example for this, but it just gives you an idea of how your body is actually working right now. If you were naked and sitting on an iceberg, okay, your body, your doctor, your internal innate system will take blood from all of your extremities, your toes, your fingers, and pool all that blood right around your vital core organs. Now, is that good for the big toe? No. Your body just sacrificed a piece of itself in order to keep the rest of you alive. So regardless of what symptoms, tumors, diseases, diagnoses that you have, innate is what created that based on the environment that you have put in. So if you've been eating McDonald's for 30 years, your body has been trying to figure out, how do I adapt to a lack of real nutrients? And so it does its very best, and sometimes it sequesters cancer cells in tumors. Sometimes the body is amazing at healing, but it's a vitalistic understanding that your body's always doing the right thing. And so we need to recognize that and use that to our advantage to change up. Okay, so let's fix your environment to give that body an opportunity to heal itself. Okay? And then this last one, treatment through reestablishing physiological function. I don't even like the word treatment. We've got to get you back to homeostasis. And that's what today is about. So if you love this allopathic approach here, this allopathic medical approach, what that has gotten us is the worst health we have ever experienced in history. We are now, this generation coming up is not expected to live as long as their parents. Blue Cross Blue Shield just polled, they took all the data from their 55 million subscribers. The major health decline is now starting at 27 years old with multiple chronic health issues. The number one disease killer in kids from 5 to 14 is cancer. We are at more cancer, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, chronic illness than we have ever seen in America, not worldwide, in America. And that's what allopathic medicine has gotten us, a generation of absolute sickness. And so now it's time to think differently. If you still want to believe that approach, go ahead, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It treats symptoms, so you temporarily think that you're better while your body degenerates. And it's a very hard place to be. Okay. We done with the intro? That was good. Okay. Let's get into this. The dynamic digestive system. So what did we say earlier? The digestive system is anything from your mouth all the way through. So through your esophagus, your stomach, then it goes into the small intestine, then the large intestine, the colon, out your anus. Okay? Now, there's three things that are inputting into that digestive system. What does it say behind me? Liver, pancreas, and the gallbladder. Three organs that add in to your digestive system that are all vital. You need these things, and yet they rip gallbladders out left and right. And it's sad. If I had you raise your hand, which I'm not going to, high percentage of people, they're just taking out a third of the organs that you need for digestion. Like, you need this thing. So each one of these supplies different things for you. So the pancreas is supplying digestive enzymes like lipase that are going to help you actually break down proteins and fats. You need that thing working. You need digestive enzymes working from the pancreas. The gallbladder, so the liver is secreting enzymes. It's stored in the gallbladder and then it's secreted as you eat fat and as you eat things that need different bile. And so those work in unison with each other. We need all this working properly. So there were like 5 people that raised their hand when understanding what a microbiome is. Your microbiome is all of your bacteria, viruses, and fungi that make up your body. Okay? Now, your body is about 50 to 100 trillion cells, okay? And all you really are cells. It's just cells that are put together with a really intelligent design that then, wow, like you create you, okay? So 100 trillion, let's take the top number, 100 trillion. You easily have 10 times that in bacteria. And when you add in the viruses and the fungi, quadrillions of these things are inhabiting your body. And what I want to be very, very clear on, because we just went through a period of history that was so damaging to the mindset of health across the whole world, where they blamed a virus for all sorts of stuff. And so, I mean, you remember pictures of spraying crazy things throughout entire cities and spraying down children's playgrounds to try to kill every possible virus there was. And yet your body is basically just bacteria, viruses, and fungi that are making up your microbiome, producing health. And so if you kill all the viruses, guess what you kill? You, and what you're going to find out, your immune system and your health protection, everything. So your hands are supposed to be coated in a lot of bacteria. We need that, and if we use antibacterial stuff constantly, guess what? You're damaging your microbiome. You're damaging your gut. You're damaging this whole process. And so we need bacteria, viruses, and fungi in order to live. We need it in the soil. We need it in our body. It is so essential. And so when we take an antibiotic or an antiviral, we're literally killing ourselves, all to fight off a temporary symptom that would heal on its own anyway. Okay, and so, okay. The 3 keys: digestion. You have to, so when you eat food, the moment you put food in your mouth, your saliva starts to break it down. So it starts to digest that food, okay? But if you do not fully digest food, you're not going to fully absorb it. And if you don't fully absorb it, you're just going to eliminate it if your elimination pathway is actually working. So between these 3, we have to make sure that you're actually digesting the food that you're eating, which means you need the right enzymes, you need the right HCl load in your stomach. So some of you with acid reflux, that's not too much acid, that's actually not enough acid because you're not breaking down the food enough, and so the unbroken down food isn't ready, so we start having gurgling stuff and start burning your throat out. So you're not digesting there. Then we get into absorption, which we're going to talk about the gut intestinal barrier in a little bit, because that's where you absorb. And if you're not absorbing nutrients, you could take every supplement and every good thing out there, but if you don't absorb it and never assimilate it into your body, it's just going to go right out of you. Some of you aren't eliminating, and so what happens there is that you get fecal matter impaction and you get constipation, and we start having a bulging on our colon, which creates all of its own problems and own symptoms and everything else. So we need to work on these 3 things, and we're going to talk about like how do we actually do that. So the body is always giving you signals. These are the big ones, but there are many signals here. First, bloating. If you eat food and you have that kind of bloating effect, that like gaseous thing. I had a old team member at my office, not my office, I was working in an office in Orlando, but she was the office manager there. And she had this, it was for like 7 years, when she'd be fine, and then she would eat food and she would look, I mean, like full on pregnant. And just like amazing bloating would happen. And it took years for her body to actually heal as we were working on correcting these things. But that bloating, when you just have that, some of it is, like, did you really need to go to Grand Buffet and eat that much food? Like, but some of you eat a small amount and you just feel bloated and full. That's a telltale sign that your digestive system and your gut and your microbiome are off. Abdominal pain. So everybody probably knows what some version of abdominal pain feels like, but there's many types, from stabbing, sharp, dull, achy pain, like that bends you over, the kind that's literally like a knife stabbing you and you don't know what the heck is going on there. Usually that's more of like a diverticulitis-y type pain, like those things. Constipation, nausea, and diarrhea, all of those are signs that something is going. Actually, it can be, based on your lifestyle, if you went out and got some like, let's just call it food poisoning, right? What's your body going to do there? Throw it up and blow it out both ends here, okay? So if you know that you just ate something highly toxic, then diarrhea is probably what you need, okay? So this doesn't mean that things aren't working. Again, the body doesn't make mistakes. It's doing it for a reason based on what you have going on internally here, okay? Now, I hesitate to do this because I keep having so little hands, but raise your hand if you've heard of leaky gut. Yeah, okay. Get this though. This is gonna probably, like, I was just in a conversation relatively recently with some medical doctors, and it was a Facebook messaging thread from some of my friends from high school, and they were all medical people, and one was anesthesiologist, all these people. And they were asking what to do for this thing, and I was like, well, they probably have leaky gut and need to fix it. And they thought I was the dumbest person on earth. They thought that by leaky gut, I was saying that they had a perforated colon and were having sepsis, and that was causing this person's problem. And I was like, you guys have no idea. There is zero training in the medical field for leaky gut. None. Nursing, my sister's been a nurse for 20 years. She never even heard of it until I started teaching this stuff to her. Like, so there's zero. They literally thought I was the idiot. And I was like, you guys are all idiots. Like, you know that meme that's like, if you're the only one going this way, but like, you're the right one. Like, just because a million people believe in a bad idea, it's still a stupid idea. So anyway, leaky gut is what's affecting so many people in our culture today. So you have about, the inner lining of your gut is about 4,000 square feet. So take a tennis court, that's about 4,000 square feet, roll it all up into these little pouches and stuff, and put it all in your digestive system. That's how much surface area you have for absorption and like working through your gut, okay? When we have a leaky gut, that barrier gets damaged. And so we go from a tight seal on our gut to a damaged seal, where now toxins and bad things can enter through into your bloodstream that shouldn't have been able to. And that's called leaky gut. And that happens from a lot of the stuff I'm about to talk about. But the big ones, it's like sugar, fats. I'll get into it because I have a list of 7 of them, the top things. So I'll just get into it. But this right here is a high likelihood of what's happening in our bodies because of what we've done as a culture to ourselves. And until we fix this, again, we could change your nutrition and supplement you. We have to actually fix the gut lining, which is a process to do. But this is such a problem that people are dealing with here. So SIBO stands for small intestine bacterial overgrowth. Okay, now SIBO does not mean bad bacteria overgrowth or good bacteria overgrowth. There's just an overgrowth of bacteria in the small intestine, which means that it's too close to where the stomach comes into the small intestine. And so these are the kind of people, if you have a bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine, where if you take a probiotic it's actually going to damage you because you're now increasing probiotic count into a already full bacterial system. And so you're flooding back like probiotics that are healthy into a system that isn't working properly. And so this is affecting a high percentage of population right now. We're having small intestine bacterial overgrowth. The only way to know for sure for that is testing. And by the way, like at the end of this, I was looking at this and thinking, Carly, like, how do we actually fix these things? Because if you have leaky gut and all this, like, you have to go through the protocols to correct it, right? And so I'm going to go through that with you, but ultimately there's testing associated, then there's the protocol to fix it, and then there's like, if you can't do those, there's just do your absolute best on the nutrition plans we offer, but I'll go through like what the protocols are and how we actually do this. But this is affecting a high percentage. So what are the symptoms of SIBO? A lot of the same things that we just talked about. Add in reflux because it's so close to the stomach. You're going to get a lot of reflux type symptoms, and then gas. And by the way, if you can clear out a room with some passing of gas, you know there's some bad things happening in here. Okay, and if your dog can like clear. And like your room, it's like boom, you need to fix your dog's food and your dog's gut also. Okay, so just know you can tell a lot by gas, okay, of like how you've been eating and how things have been going. Okay, so how common, if a person has IBS, like 80% of those people actually do have SIBO also, but even if you don't have IBS, there's a high likelihood that there's a SIBO issue going on, which the only way to really know is the test for that. Okay, now this is an approximate number, 70%, but 70% of the immune system is the gut down here. It's the relationship and the balance of good bacteria in our gut, a good microbiome, a good balance of bacterial, viral, and funguses. But I want to address this because the idea of good bacteria versus bad isn't really a good way to think of it, because you need balance. And so if you have not enough bad, you have imbalance, and it's going to create problems. If you have too much bad and too little good, that creates problems. We need the balance of it. So you do need more, just like that wall right there. We took down all the bad ones, but we want a little bit of bad inside a whole lot of good. That creates an actual healthy gut. Okay, but just think about this for a second, because your immune system is what's protecting you all the time. It's looking at invaders and deciding what to do there and how to attack things. And half the time you get infections that you never even know that you had because your immune system kills it before you had any symptoms. It happens constantly. I mean, that moment where, you know how many spouses we had where one would be COVID positive and the other not? One gets the flu, one doesn't. How does that even happen? One person's still contacting the viral load or contacting whatever, but their body kills it before they even knew that there was a thing. And the other person's on death row over here hacking up things and going, and it's like, well, how in the world does that happen right there? One person is functioning at a higher level than that other person. It's not rocket science, you know. So it's like we want to take care of our gut because that's our immune system. It's so important. And on that, oh my gosh, this research said if you've had 10 rounds of antibiotics or more in your life, you are 80% more likely to get cancer. Think about this for a second. Because I was grown up on antibiotics. I was a sick kid. But when you take an antibiotic, you bomb your entire bacterial system and kill all the good stuff, which kills your immune system. And then if you don't go through protocols to re-inoculate and fix your gut, then your immune system is tanked, and so it can't target cancer cells properly, and those people have a very hard time coming back to health. And there's a reason 50% of people are diagnosed with cancer right now. Like, we've got to fix this. Like, it's not, and a lot of times it's, well, I don't feel like fixing it. You know, I don't feel like changing my diet. I don't feel like doing this stuff. And it's like, get over that and do it. You know, so this is the other big one, and oh my goodness. The amount of people that we have come in, and I know it's possibly a lot of this room that are dealing with anxiety and depression and taking antidepressants for these things when 95% of our serotonin is produced in our gut. right? If we don't fix this right here, so you have, I know I'm throwing out some big numbers there, y'all, but you have about 100 billion neurons that make up your brain. Your enteric nerve system is in your gut, and that's about 500 million neurons. Okay? Just to make this apparent. Some of you might have heard this before, but just to a million, a billion, and a trillion, and when you think of all this stuff, okay? 1 million seconds ago in the past, how far back are we going in time? Months? It's actually about 18 days. Okay? Now, if you go back 1 billion seconds into the past, where are we now? Years? Approximately May 1977. Okay? That's the difference between a million and a billion. If you go back 1 trillion seconds into the past, where do you think we are? 29,300 BC. Okay? So you're talking, when we're talking about a billion cells and a million cells and the national debt of 30 trillion, right? We got problems. Like, you understand, like, we got some big issues here. When you look at your enteric nerve system, the gut-brain axis is vital. This communication pathway needs to be open, and it actually goes from your brainstem right down into your gut. So if we have damage on our brainstem here, that's one of the things we work on with chiropractic adjustments, is correcting anything problematic in here, but then we have to fix the gut to have the gut-brain axis properly. 95% of serotonin, so this is your mood regulation, and there's a high percentage of dopamine that's also produced in the gut. And so when we look at anxieties and depressions, very often, if we go and attack this and get this healthy, your mood completely changes and you stop having those random anxiety attacks that you don't even understand. And why, I don't know why I'm so sad and why I'm having these issues and why I'm in this state like this, because it's like I've talked to so many people in depression, they hate it. They hate the feeling, they hate where they're at, yet they don't know what to do. So they just go to a doctor, psychiatrist, and start taking drugs. But it's this right here. If your kids are having issues, look, we know that all the colorings and all the crap that's put in kids' cereals and stuff is affecting this also. It destroys our gut. That's why it has an effect on mood. So we've got to fix this gut-brain axis. So these are the 5 pillars of GI distress: maldigestion, inflammation, dysbiosis, metabolic imbalance, and infection. We're not going to get crazy into each one, but I am going to go into each one. These are the 5 things that we actually test for also, okay? Maldigestion. So this is, I kind of hinted at it before, but your pancreas, if it is not sufficiently producing the enzymes that you need to digest, you're going to have maldigestion. So you're not going to actually break down the food that you're putting in, okay? And then a sluggish gallbladder. If your gallbladder isn't working properly, we're going to have problems. Hope, will you grab one of the liver detox flush things out back there? To your right, somebody that knows, I have no idea. Anyway, they're back there. Okay. We have, in our academy, that Elevate Health Academy right there. Yeah, everybody look at Ellie. No, so now I'm reinforcing all of it because half of them didn't actually do the thing. A liver gallbladder flush is so easy to do and so beneficial for your body. The average American has about 15 to 20% function in their liver right now, just walking around, like based on testing that they've done. And it's like most of your liver is actually backed up with stones and all these problems. So you're not actually able to function properly with detoxification or digestion, because the liver is not going to get things into the into the gallbladder properly to secrete the bile, because this connection pathway isn't happening. And just doing some easy liver gallbladder flushes, it's like, it's not that hard, and it is life-changing for you when you do enough of them to release all the stones, okay? So you can actually just, it's like 4 days of vegan eating, 1 day where you drink some Epsom salt, and then you chug a bunch of olive oil, which I know is weird, and you go right to sleep, and that creates this fat effect where it pushes really hard. The gallbladder squeezes hard, and you squeeze out all these stones from your gallbladder and your liver that are blocking ducts and pathways. It's amazing what happens, but you can literally just cleanse these out and help your digestion amazing ways, and that is completely free stuff. I'll go over the expensive stuff with you later. That's completely free. You can do that at any time. Usually you'll want to do back-to-back months or back-to-back-to-back-to-back months if you need to do it 3, 4, 5 times, something like that, okay? This is the number one missing ingredient in people's diets, healthy fats. And I mean the number one missing ingredient. Or you don't have the actual enzymes and stuff to break down the fat, okay? But we need good fat. Healthy fat helps absorb vitamins. Healthy fat builds cell membranes that are healthy. It cushions your organs, protects you from temperatures. A lot of people that burn really easily from the sun have really bad omega imbalances because they're not eating enough fat. They don't have temperature regulation for stuff like this. It regulates the building blocks of hormones. Every single hormone produced in your body has a base of cholesterol, and then it builds the hormone off of it. So you need fat as the base of every single hormone. So if you're not eating enough fat, your hormones are going to be depleted. Allows proper cellular detoxification, which is needed. 70% of your brain is fat, is cholesterol, right? So just think, if you take a statin, a cholesterol-lowering medication, what happens to your brain? It's depleting nutrients. Like your brain is fat, it's cholesterol. You need cholesterol. They've actually done so much research, and some of you are going to like get up and leave or something. People live longer with higher cholesterol levels. They die earlier with low cholesterol levels. And we're watching it happen right now. They're giving statins, cholesterol-lowering drugs, to literally millions upon millions of people, and then all those people are dying of heart attacks. And we're like, we don't know. You know, anyway. This isn't a heart disease workshop. It's a gut workshop. We gotta get into this stuff. Okay, this is a big one. If a doctor is talking to you about eliminating your gallbladder, or a friend, if they're about to take out their gallbladder, you are now the voice of reason for them. Did God create you with too many organs? No. So if one is diseased and having problems, let's fix the environment that it's in so that your body can heal it. You need your organs. You need your thyroid, you need your appendix, you need your gallbladder, you need your thymus, all the stuff they keep ripping out of people, you need those things. So stop letting them take your organs. There we go. Look, I'm flying through these slides. This is good. Inflammation is a hard topic because it's hard to understand. A lot of people can understand, I hurt my wrist, it's inflamed, that's inflammation. Systemic inflammation is different. When we have systemic inflammation, it's like it's kind of like the base that all these diseases in the body are built on is like this inflammatory base because we're in chronic inflammation. Now, these things up here are a lot of this is actually causing this calprotectin. These things are really nerdy though, and I wasn't going to get crazy nerdy today. I'm going to get moderately nerdy. So this calprotectin is released by white blood cells in a response to inflammation. The EPX is a histamine reaction in the gut, right? So if we are in chronic inflammation, there's a chronic histamine response that's happening, and so that can create a lot of, by the way, like leaky gut, it goes, you get leaky gut, then you start getting food sensitivities, then you get food allergies, and then you get autoimmune diseases. And autoimmune diseases are asthma, psoriasis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. There's so many different autoimmune conditions that are out there caused from leaky gut and chronic inflammation. This fetal, you guys can't see when I'm like, okay. This fecal secretory IgA, so this is protective mucosal lining from your mouth all the way through. Like this is crucial. If that is there 100%, then we're not going to have leaky gut issues, but chronic inflammation is going to break this down and cause leaky gut. And so we have to address the inflammatory issues in the body. These metabolic imbalances. So metabolic imbalances, we taught an entire makeover at the church. Like we did an entire 3 hours on metabolic dysfunction. So I can't get into this 100%, but let's talk about this butyrate. Butyrate is what actually keeps your gut lining together. And there's some things that break apart your gut lining, like glyphosate, which we'll talk about in a second, but this butyrate is so crucial. So we need our metabolism or metabolic function to actually be in full gear. And what we learned at the makeover last time was that something like 90% of Americans are in some version of metabolic dysfunction. And so that's where, like cancer, the big C word, is a metabolic dysfunction problem in the body. And we've got to address those things. So this is where, gut comes into. We have to fix the metabolic function. So glyphosate. Raise your hand if you know what glyphosate is. Raise your hand higher, because I actually do need to know here. So, yeah, look around really quick. Raise your hand and then look around. Okay. This is, I think this is a problem. Okay. We need to be educated as a populace. Who knows the company Monsanto?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Who knows Bayer?
Yes.
Who knows that Bayer was actually called IG Farben and produced all the drugs that killed all the people in the Holocaust?
Yep.
And then they got, literally the Nuremberg trials convicted them, and they all went to jail, and then 5 days later were brought to America, renamed the company Bayer, and then they started producing drugs for everybody, and it's crazy. So Bayer bought Monsanto. Okay, so now one of the largest drug producers owns the largest food. It's crazy what's happening. Monsanto produces glyphosate, which is Roundup. Okay, so Roundup kills all the stuff that is not genetically modified to withstand glyphosate poisoning. Now, they say that glyphosate, it doesn't harm humans at all. But what does it harm? All the bacteria in your gut, and it is a water-soluble toxin, and so it is literally causing dead zones in rivers, the Mississippi Delta, dead zones through that because it's getting into the actual water and air. And so this is what they're using with monocrop in American agriculture, but it's affecting every single one of us, and they've lost lawsuits already because they know that this thing causes cancer, yet they're spraying it constantly. And a lot of you are buying it at the store and spraying it on all your stuff. It's like you're asking for leaky gut. So glyphosate directly breaks down the intestinal barrier, creating a leaky gut, paving the way for autoimmune diseases, paving the way for neurological challenges, paving the way for mood disorders. Glyphosate passes the blood-brain barrier, creating direct neurotoxicity because of how small the molecules actually are. And so this right here is one of the biggest toxins that nobody even knows about that is killing us. We have to understand what's actually happening here. This is even organic stuff is having glyphosate in it right now. Almost every single thing that's in a box in the store has millimeters per parts per million glyphosate. Each thing is higher and higher and higher. It's crazy. They've even found every single thing of wine from Napa Valley, even organic wines, have glyphosate toxicity in them. This stuff is rampant, and it's very hard to understand. How do we get away from it? That's why I just bought a farm. I want to control everything about my food production source because I don't trust anybody out there anymore because they keep poisoning us. It's like I'm not some weird conspiracy person, but the reality is look at what they're doing and look at what they've done to our culture. It's crazy. So we have to you have to really make this thing happen. And as a populace, we better stand up and say, I'm done spending my money on companies that use this, right? So. Yeah, I wrote on Facebook, I hate social media. I get in trouble on social media so much. Half the time I'm in jail. I can't post anything, so when I can post, I'm really excited. I just posted recently because that Coca-Cola, okay, this is how this works, okay? Coca-Cola makes $10 billion a year from food stamps. Okay, so food stamp people buying Coke, okay? And there was a sugar act recently to try to stop food stamps from being able to purchase sugary drinks, Coke, sodas, that kind of thing, okay? And so what happens is Coke, then the corporation goes and lobbies. So this was from one of the lobbyists, the old corporate employee of Coke was sharing this, And he's like, so what would happen is Coke would pay all these lobbyists to go and pay off Congress to then kill the bill so that they can keep just making their $10 billion. So what's happening is that we pay taxes, right? We pay taxes to government, who then literally subsidizes trillions of dollars of seed oils and toxic foods and Coke products and sugary drinks that are causing disease in you and me, right? And so and then the medication they're giving us are also paying off Congress to stop even looking into the situations. And so, when you look at a glyphosate, Man, that should have been shut down so long ago, but how much money has been transferring back and forth? I remember one guy, literally, and this happens all the time, but he was like, the top government agency that's supposed to be watching out for this, as soon as he's out of government, he finds a VP position in Monsanto making millions upon millions of dollars because he didn't kill the bill. It's crazy what the back and forth is with this stuff. So a lot of it is you can't worry about because stress will affect your gut. So don't stress about these things. Don't stress about them. Like, God is so much in control of all this. Like, you have to recognize that we're like this, and God already has, things are orchestrating, and it's perfectly fine. But understanding this stuff so that you can stop buying into it and stop poisoning yourself is very crucial. Dysbiosis is gut imbalance, basically. So this is looking at your gut microbiome and your total commensal bacterial load, like your microbiome load, your bacteria, viral, and fungi load. You need good bacteria, but again, I talked about good and bad. You need balance in your bacteria. So, probiotic-rich foods. Do you want to read those for me? That was really fast. You had to speak louder for everybody. Who likes kefir? Who knows what kefir is? A couple people. I used to go to Sunshine Nutrition Shop to get their goat milk kefir. It was good, but now I have better sources for stuff like this. Sauerkraut. Who likes sauerkraut? My German people. Yeah. But so this says whole milk, but really, what are we looking for? We're looking for like the cow that was loved on a regenerative organic farm that was like, oh yeah, you're a beautiful cow. Now give me some milk, cow. And then it's got cream on the top and all this stuff, and you're like, you're looking for real milk, because you can get whole milk that is full of pus and weird toxins and hormones and antibiotics and all the stuff. And if you're getting it from the grocery store like that, a little gallon thing, you are drinking things that are so confusing. And that's why people say, I have a dairy intolerance. You don't have a dairy intolerance, probably. You have a crap conventional system dairy intolerance that's full of garbage for your body. So you're having reactions to a bunch of literal crap and pus. It's full of this stuff. So real milk, real whole milk is amazing for us, right? Grass-fed, plain yogurt. So this is good stuff. Yeah, it's just when you actually go and really understand it and look at what they do, makes you like, oh. Tempeh and kimchi. These are all good probiotic-rich foods. Now, if you have SIBO, which again, there's no way to know unless we actually do testing, but if you have SIBO, you don't want a bunch of probiotic-rich foods right now. That's going to give you major, oh my gosh, Dr. Mark told me to eat sauerkraut and now I'm dying. You've got SIBO overgrowth big time. So if you eat high probiotics and you're getting a gut reaction from that, you probably have SIBO, and we need to go through gut protocols to correct it. So you actually have to kill the bacteria and then start to re-inoculate. Actually, we'll use a supplement called betaine HCl. Helps with that. It helps to build your HCl back. That kills all the bacteria that's close to the stomach and will help with the pains and bloating and all that stuff for that. And then infection. And when I talk about infection, a high percentage of Americans are dealing with parasite infections. A lot of people have worms, okay, and you don't recognize it. You think it's normal in your dog, and oh my gosh, my dog has worms. Well, you probably have worms too, and you just don't know it because they're eating all your nutrients, and it's they're taking it all. Okay, she doesn't like talking about worms. It's amazing. You can do parasite cleanses and stuff, and worms are literally coming out of you that are this long. And they're nasty, and it makes you want to puke and vomit and all this stuff, but it's worse to have them in you. So you can do, Hilda Clark has a good one. We have it in our academy. I think it's month 3 in there. But we have a parasite cleanse in there that you can start, because it paralyzes them, and then your body can start getting them out of your system if they're there. You can pick up parasites easily. If you go swimming in Percy Priest here, I almost promise you'll get parasites if you even look at that lake, okay? So it's even if you fly over the lake, you might get parasites from it. So
how close can you live? And I live really close.
I don't know. The point is that the water, yeah, so you're not actually going to...
Airborne.
Yeah, they're not going to fly into your stomach or something. No, but seriously, like I have some really good healthy friends that took their families swimming in the lake, and their kids started acting all weird, and they were doing weird stuff, and they were like suddenly not sleeping and all these issues, and they were like, what is going on? And finally they were thinking, oh my gosh, it could be parasites, because parasites are going to affect the gut, which is going to affect serotonin, which is going to affect dopamine, which is going to change the mood, and then that kid is suddenly going to go start acting different. And they did parasite cleanses on this kid. All these freaking parasites were coming out of the kid's butt, right? And then it was like amazing transformation. But this is a problem. Anyway, so infections, bacterial, yeast. The people that we are testing right now, when we do like GI effects, stool tests, or metabolomics testing, I'm seeing yeast overgrowth like crazy. So sometimes that's like a candida overgrowth or a fungi overgrowth. But if you have these things, you're not going to see massive change by doing the advanced plan, or like, oh, I was supposed to not eat as much sugar or something like that. Like, okay, so you cut down 50% of your sugar. You need to go through major corrective protocols to fix yeast. So the moment that you get your gut into a healthier environment, yeast and funguses will go into their spore form, their seed form, and they'll just sit there in your gut and wait until you have crappy food, until you create an environment of acidity again. And then suddenly, boom, you have a proliferation of it. And so what you thought was killed and corrected is right back to where it was. So you have to go through these kind of ups and downs and like kill all of it, and then pause, wait for it to grow again, kill it, wait for it to grow and kill it until you actually get all of it. So that's a very, very challenging thing that, again, it's just, if you don't test, then, anyway. This 3-step process, this is actually, let's keep it really simple. Okay, I've gone over some, you're probably like, am I even like alive? How am I alive right now? Okay. First, we have to identify the cause, okay? You got to identify the cause. Is it a yeast overgrowth? Is it SIBO? Is it leaky gut? What is the cause going on? Is it nerve interference? Maybe you've got complete damage up here and you haven't really gone through correction, or you're not doing your home care to fix your nerve system. Like that could be a cause also of gut imbalance. Then we need to remove the interference, right? So we need to get rid of it, and then simply restore balance. So simplicity thinking, identify it, remove it, replace, finish this thing off, right? So that's this simplistic way of looking at it. It's just complicated in each step because it requires discipline, work, and effort, All good things in life require a lot of work, by the way. Rarely does something like come easy and be like, oh my gosh, everybody see what I did? I walked to the mailbox. Okay. Although, not to say, if you're in a place where you need to walk to the mailbox, that's where you're starting, awesome. It's like, work on that stuff. Okay, 7 causes of leaky gut. Picture taker, if you've got a phone, this is it. Added sugars. Sugar directly feeds cancer, yeast, all the bad stuff. Like, it creates an acidic environment where bad bacteria thrive, and so your more diseasey type bacteria are going to thrive off of sugar. Damaged fats, so we're talking fried foods, seed oils, all of those are damaged fats. Listen, any restaurant that you go to, I don't really care they could be using olive oil. It's going to be a bad oil. So if you go out to eat a lot, you're putting damaged fats in your body a lot. It's just the way that it is. Until we create if we can buy the other side of the street over here and create actual healthy restaurants with real food and real stuff, one of you, maybe God is speaking to right now that you're an entrepreneur and you're like, okay, I'm going to go make a restaurant, and Dr. Mark's going to send his whole office over there, and I will keep you in business. I literally will. But somebody's got to go make it, because I don't have the time. I would like to. And I'll supply your meat. I'll actually do the cow thing. Okay. But this is huge. I used to say sugar is because sugar is evil. It's from the devil. Like the water boy? That's from the devil. Damaged fats, though. Damaged fats. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog running through your body, destroying everything. It breaks down your cell membranes, so you can't have nutrients and oxygen getting into the cell anymore. Waste can't get out of the cell, and so now that cell has to adapt into a sick environment, and it turns into tumor cells. That's how these things grow. And the more that we do that, the more bad things start to happen. Refined carbohydrates directly feed the bad stuff in our gut. Glyphosate, we already talked about. This is pure bad, golly, horrible. Artificial sweeteners. People are still using Splenda and sucralose and those little colored packets on everything. Y'all, when I'm in there, I'm writing toxic, don't eat this, please, throwing them away. Like, those things are, it's horrible for you. They have known that Splenda and sucralose melt your brain neurons, right? So it's like you are killing your brain when you're putting this stuff in, thinking that it's low calorie. It's low calorie in early death. We don't want that. Medications. I know that some of you might need medications right now or think you need medications right now, but these definitely destroy our gut. And then stress, okay? So this is an easy one. Just stop stressing.
Never again.
Never again. Let's talk about stress for like 2 minutes. There is very healthy stress, and then there's bad stress, okay? So if somebody harmed you in high school and you are still worried about it, that's bad stress, okay? If, whatever, somebody cut you off 3 hours ago and you're still pissed off at them, that's bad stress, okay? Things that you're harboring that in no way affect anybody else. They said something stupid to you and you're the one that's still worried about it, and they forgot long ago that it was even a thing. They don't even know they hurt your feelings. They don't even know about it, and you're over here like, can you believe they said? And then you're still in the shower the next day having conversation. I should have said this. Perfect comeback now, idiot. All right, let's try this again. You're stressing about stuff that is actually affecting your health, and it's like, they don't. It's done. It's over. And some of you are worriers, okay? And you're worrying about everything I talked about earlier, from the government taking over and glyphosate and Bayer. You know, it's like, don't worry. Those things are so deeply far out of your control, and it's like, most of you, this is what you actually should worry about, okay? You have control over like your house or your apartment. Do not bring toxic products in there, shampoos, conditioners, detergents. Fix your water. Don't let EMF, so get some EMF protection stuff, right? Fix your electrical outlets to not have dirty electricity coming out of there. Fix your air quality to make sure that you have quality air and you're not breathing in crazy amounts. So just worry about your little zone, and then let's go change the world. First, get you immensely healthy. That's the thing that you should worry about. Let's just work on you, right? Or not worry. You know, don't worry about it, but like, okay. You can minimize a great deal of stress. You never get out of it, and you never want to. Stress keeps you going. It's very healthy in certain circumstances. But you do not want to live in chronic stress, because you will break yourself, okay? All right, I do want to go through, what time is it? Goodness, I don't have a time thing on here.
6:22.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Testing. For some people, testing is just simply not in our financial realm at all, because this stuff can run a slightly, you know, it's like everything's relative. So it's like, you know, testing can be high for some people, and some people just don't feel like spending money on themselves. Most of the time, that's what it is. People are afraid to spend money on themselves, and it's like, you're worth it. You're worth being healthy. And so anyway, testing allows us to actually see what is going on in your body. There are 2 tests that we do regularly in the office to help people reach a new level. One is called the GI effects stool test. The other is a metabolomics test, okay? The GI effects literally looks at all 5 areas that affect gut microbiome. And so it's looking at each one, and then there's subcategories in those where we can actually see exactly where every digestive level is, if there's parasites and what parasite it is, because it looks at so many classifications for it. Your total commensal bacterial load, if there's any imbalances, and what it is. So let's say that you have an imbalance, but you don't know exactly what it is. This test allows us to see, okay, it's this strain, and we need to address that and go through corrective protocols to fix that. So it's very powerful to know what is actually happening. Right, there's a protocol that we use to just simply heal gut, but if we know exactly what it is, sometimes it'll change based on what we have there. So the GI effects helps us see exactly what's happening in the gut. The metabolomics test. The metabolomics test is looking at vitamin mineral deficiencies, your omega imbalances, if you have toxic heavy metal issues that are still affecting your brain and all these things. It looks at your amino acids, your cardiovascular risks with that. Golly, it's got so much stuff on there. So those two tests are extremely powerful to actually figure out what's going on, okay? At events like this, we discount them. I don't have a product guide thing. Does anybody have one of those? Oh, a few people got them from coming in. Okay, not everybody, but I think, yeah, they're the testing. Listen, these tests are usually $2,100 or $2,150, so $2,150 through Genova. Max Living just gets better discounts on things because we have a lot of offices and use a lot of stuff, so we get discounts. So that $750 seems like a lot, but it's actually a highly discounted test for people that are in Max Living offices, and we discount at $50 when we're at events. So testing and not guessing is a very, very powerful thing. Now, let's get into remove. So how do we remove the interferences? This is the 4R gut healing protocol. Everybody say 4R gut healing protocol. Oh, that was so good. Everybody did it except for Kim. I didn't see your mouth moving. Okay. Okay, so. Thank you, Grace. I didn't see your mouth moving. First, number 1R, remove. Okay? We have to remove the bad bacteria, yeast, parasites, overgrowths in the gut. We have to remove those things. Okay? That's what we use GI balance for. This whole, I already talked about this, so I don't want to, but I thought that this picture is exactly what I envision what's happening when you take an antibiotic. It is literally just blowing up your whole microbiome. And some of you have spent a long time working on it, and then if you take an antibiotic, it like literally just, it's destroying the whole thing. And it's like, let's say there's one little infection in your body that's causing a cough or whatever, and we run for an antibiotic. It's like having one terrorist in one little building in the middle of downtown Nashville, and we blow the whole city up to try and kill it. Like that's like destroying your whole gut to try and fight one little tiny infection. So this will annihilate us pretty hard. We want to remove properly. So we want to remove. Number 2 is repair. So repair. These things are so small. I'm trying to read this section, but on my tiny screen, and the lighting is down. I'm like, do I need glasses? Like, what's going on? I need an adjustment. Fix my eyesight. Okay. Repair is repairing the gut cells. So remember, this intestinal lining is 4,000 square feet. This is a lot. You're not going to do this immediately. So we remove, and generally we remove for a month, and then we work on the repairing phases. So we've got to repair the gut, and that's actually what this gut renew is, which I'll explain in a second. You've got this list of supplements we use for this 4R protocol on your sheet, but I'm going to go over the supplements in a second of what they actually are. The third one is replace. So you remove, you repair, and then you replace with good, healthy stuff that you actually need, and good foods, right? Because if you continue to eat a lot of bad foods, you're going to just ruin the whole system. So while you do a protocol like this, you need to be on a really good nutrition plan. We use the advanced plan for that. If you want to follow our lead, that would be a decently smart thing to do, okay? This phase also, like this replace phase, this is when we'll use like bile salts or betaine HCl to help the body actually break things down properly so that you are actually digesting and absorbing and eliminating the right things. And then the fourth one is replenish and bring the gut microbiome back. And it's so awesome when actually it works on people. So this thing right here. Okay, so there's two things I want to talk about with this, and then let me just see where I'm actually at here. So, okay, the 4R system. Oh man, these things are just not very tall. I'm so much taller than all my stuff here. Okay, can I see your sheet? Okay. You see all these red numbers? Don't get scared by this number, okay? This gut healing protocol is a 2-month protocol, right? So everything in here is actually used over 2 months. And this is what we use to kill it. Now, I do want to address this because when I'm talking about supplements, I don't see it as selling you a supplement. I literally see it as saving your life because we're fixing the body, right? And so when we think of health, that's just the way that I view supplements. I used to absolutely hate supplementation. I thought we should be able to get everything from food. We shouldn't need any kind of supplement whatsoever. Like, I should be able to eat all my nutrients. Americans, we have destroyed topsoil. We have nutrient depletion in our food. You can eat all the organic food you want and still be deficient in all this stuff. We are really, really close. We've started this Pure Path brand where we have complete regenerative organic products coming. So we actually control the soil, we control the seed, and then we control the supplement that grows out of that, and then we produce from it. So every one of our resources up here are going through this protocol to start fixing it to make sure it is the absolute top quality supplement that we can bring into the marketplace. But so when I'm talking about like selling a supplement thing, man, I literally see this as just saving your gut. And so, but I know it costs some money. Okay, so this process right here, there's just no, I could put you on the advanced plan for 6 months, but the gut's not going to fix because that's not going to kill the yeast. It's not going to kill the overgrowth. So ideally, we test first. Testing takes about a 3-week process. We give you the test, you do it at home, you ship it off. 2 weeks later, we get results back and we can go over results. Ideally, we test so that we know exactly what to bring you through. This 4-hour protocol is like the basic, okay, if you know that you've got the bloating and gas and abdominal pains and you know there's issues, like this is a good place to start. Okay, so it's usually $350 for this over 2 months. It's 15% off at the event, so it's $297. Okay, the way this works, I don't have, this is the Designs for Health brand, but this should be GI Balance, which some of you have in your actual thing there. So we use GI Balance, microbiome support. These are like, and ProNet. These are like the things that we're using to the remove phase, where we're trying to kill the bad, and I think Max Oregano Oil is in on this also. They gave all this stuff to me. So these ones are used for the removal phase, where we're breaking these things down. Unfortunately, when you're killing a bunch of bad stuff, there are withdrawal effects for that. That's why we use Pro NAC. This is an extremely powerful antioxidant to help your body with the withdrawal effects, because it's literally like people go through pretty intense withdrawals when you're killing off a whole bunch of bad stuff, okay? So that's why we use that. This Gut Renew powder, this is actually what helps to seal the gut lining again. So it helps with butyrate. It actually has licorice, black licorice in it that helps to seal the gut lining. So if there's a leaky gut, we remove it and then we start to repair it with these things. So the digestive enzymes and the probiotics are next. That's in part of month 2 also, where it's like, okay, so now we're taking digestive enzymes before every single meal to where we actually have the enzymes to start breaking things down more, and then re-inoculating with probiotics. That's when, in month 2, that's when you want to add in the sauerkrauts and the kimchis and the probiotics and go to the farm and squeeze the milk in from the cow so you're getting all the good probiotic stuff in month 2. You don't want a bunch of high probiotic stuff in month 1 when you're going through the 4-hour protocol. That all needs to shift over to month 2, okay? I think there are only like 7 actual bundles of this that we have available. We can order more, but there's only like 7 available. The other thing I wanted to talk about is this 15-day cleanse, okay? I love our 15-day cleanse. I don't have a slide for it. I don't have any information for you on there, but the 15-day cleanse is what I use when I just need a reset, okay? That's 15 days where we go after things hard. We detox out the body. It helps in amazing ways. Your sleep will improve. Your energy will improve. It's crazy. What people see on a 15-day cleanse is powerful. The problem that I have with it is that it's not a lifestyle thing. It is a very quick thing. It's like a 15 days. And then after it, not everybody always, a whole lot of people want to continue on the cleanse when it's like, it's a cleanse. Now you need to learn to eat right and like normalize your diet and normalize these things because you're literally cleansing. But most people lose about 10 to 15 pounds on this cleanse, but it's amazing what happens with just like sleep, energy, digestion, all those things can improve greatly. I wanted to go over it because I love this time of year is so amazing as we move into summer stuff and everybody's taking all these vacations. And what do we do on vacation? You kill yourself. You go and you eat a bunch of crap. You don't work out. You wake up later. You know, it's like we do bad things to us. So why not spend 15 days and actually work on our health during this time? So the way the cleanse works, we use plant protein and max greens for breakfast and lunch. All right, it's very simple shakes, and we're trying to simplify it. You're not doing crazy smoothies and putting a whole bunch of stuff in a blender and blending. You're literally trying to do shakes, right? You can use almond milk, whole milk, coconut milk. I don't care what kind of milk, as long as it's as long as there's no added crap into it, okay? But you're using this for breakfast and lunch. While we're doing that, we use the detox system, which is literally pulls toxins. It's a cellular detox. It's not a colon blow, okay? It's a cellular detox that pulls toxins in and then removes them in the evening with activated charcoal and some superfoods. And then these two, curcumin plus and vitamin D3, these we use at lunchtime to help with the inflammatory aspects. And it is unbelievable what happens when people actually do this properly. Usually when I do a 15-day cleanse, we try to get 20, 30, 40, 50 people actually doing the cleanse together, because there's power and numbers and camaraderie there, and we get you on our Facebook challenge group and everybody engages with those. I just wanted to offer another thing for you so that it's like, hey, I don't think I'm ready for that. I don't want to test, but I need to do something because I just don't feel right. That's for the 15-day cleanse. It's literally 15 days. It's not 2 months, and we don't have to wait forever to get testing back. It's something you can just do. I promise you, you will see results fast. The issue is this: if you are a sugar addict, if your body's addicted to sugar, there will be about 6 to 9 days of sugar withdrawal symptoms. Okay, after that, it is unreal amazing, and that's where people are like, holy crap, that was awesome. But those 6 to 9 days are sketchy because they're full of fatigue and sometimes headaches and sometimes all sorts of problems, and a lot of people quit there. And that's where, like, come talk to me. And I've done this cleanse at least 3 or 4 times a year for the last like 12 years. Okay, I've done it a lot. I've probably helped at least 300 people do this thing also. Like, it's amazing when you do that. Okay, but that is the order stuff. If you want any of it, talk to my team at the end. Okay. Now let's walk through this too. The nerve system and the gut are literally directly linked. I don't have my poster. I don't know why I don't have my poster. It's on all the things here, but the vagus nerve. Who's heard of the vagus nerve? Okay. The vagus nerve stems from right here at the brainstem, innervates straight through the diaphragm, and controls all the organs that you aren't thinking about. That's what is directly linked into the gut. And we need a healthy nerve system there. We need a healthy nerve system for function. Everything revolves around brain down, right? So we need that healthy thing. The nerve system controls these. And does everybody in here remember Christopher Reeves? Yeah. Christopher Reeves, riding his horse, he fell off, he hit his chin, and this top bone, his atlas, shifted into his brainstem. And what happened? Quadriplegic. He lived 9 more years though. So what happened in those 9 years? His heart shut down. He had to have a pacemaker put in. His lungs shut down. He had a machine called an iron lung breathing for him. His massage therapist had to push on his colon around to get his body to actually excrete anything, because the motility in his digestive system was no more because he damaged his nerve system. Right? Every organ in his body actually decreased function until eventually he died from the common cold because he had no more immune system. He also had an increase of aging, and if you look at the pictures of him, it looks like he aged 50 years in a 9-year period because he damaged his nerve system so much with that one injury. Now, the reason I'm going through that is that if we gave Christopher Reeves the most amazing 4R gut protocol and tested everything, and we gave him the best supplements in the world, was he going to get better? No, because there was interference on his nerve system. So if there's damage on a nerve that controls that area of your body, your gut, until you remove that, you're fighting an uphill battle. So we need to do both things there. So if you're a guest in here and you've never had your spine and nerve system actually looked at, now would be a good time. It's not that hard. We do a $40 exam fee. X-rays are $25 a view if we need to check the spine. We'll check it in the office and see exactly what's going on. But this is primary number one. We have to fix the nerve system. Then we jump into the gut. So if you're a guest, nerve system, then gut. Don't buy a bunch of products or something like that until we look at the nerve system. It's so much more important to let's focus here and then go to the next step. Okay. Subluxation. I never even use this term, but subluxation is when the spine shifts, interfering on a nerve. And if there's subluxation on a nerve, wherever that nerve goes, that part of the body is no longer getting life. It's getting a decrease in life, which is death. And it's just a matter of time before that organ or that joint or whatever completely degenerates. And suddenly your shoulder doesn't work, your elbow doesn't work, your thyroid doesn't work. And you're like, how in the world did that happen? When you look at your x-rays, we've got degeneration and all the stuff. And so the more that we can work on that, the better. That's what we do with adjustments, is remove interference. So, I didn't even fix any of these things. So there is one. Okay, man. Zaina was supposed to remind me about this. Where's Zaina? I usually take responsibility for things in my life, but I'm going to blame Zaina completely. Okay, a couple things. If you're like, I really want to cleanse, but I'm not sure, there's a document here. Is this like a document or is this a flyer? I don't know. There's a flyer here that will explain exactly what to do, how to do it, and give you some information. If you're like, maybe I'll do that later, you can take one of these things. They're in the back. It'll have it, but it'll give you directions on exactly how to do this cleanse also. So if you've done the detox before, we use the entire detox. That's a month. We do it in 15 days. So you do 2 for 3 days, 4 for 3 days, then 6 as you're really pulling out toxins. That's what creates the weight loss effect. It's extremely powerful, okay? Inside of the 4-hour gut bundle is an explanation of exactly how to do each month, as well as the advanced plan nutrition guide, so that you can see exactly what foods are on the advanced plan and how to do them, okay? If you have our academy, you go to month 2, you have our entire advanced plan and all of our recipes on there. Actually log in and use the thing, because it has everything that you would possibly need for that. The next thing I did want to talk about, listen, there are so many people that are lost and confused. Thank you, Zaina. Yes. I'm like, yeah. That are really, truly, it's lost and confused. I talked to a gentleman, he came in here, what's today? When he came in here on Monday. This guy is on 14 different medications. One of them was he fell and hurt his shoulder, and they put him on Oxycontin, and that was 4 years ago. He's been addicted to hardcore painkillers. I'm talking to him in the exam room, and he's like, can barely listen. He's so drugged out of his mind with this stuff and has no idea what health is. And I'm talking to him about the opportunity in the body healing itself, and it's like there is such a disconnect in culture. And I know that you know people that are lost and confused, and they're looking for an answer. And the answer is here. And we do outreach events all the time. And so we're doing this community dinner in a couple weeks. Where's the actual date here? June 29th. Is that a Thursday? Yeah. Yes. So Thursday, June 29th, we turn our office here into a restaurant. I used to take people to a restaurant, but they use a bunch of bad oils and all the bad stuff. And I was like, what am I doing? Feeding these people poison while inviting them into a health office? Like, it was just incongruent. So what we do is we turn our office here into a little restaurant. We cater in some actual good food, right? And we feed them and talk about health for like 20 minutes while we're just hanging out and engaging each other with fun conversation. And we just teach them a little bit of a different approach. People are lost in a model of what drug, what surgery, what antidepressant, what shot. Give them an opportunity. So if you have a friend that you know would benefit from this, bring them to this thing. It feels so good when you're the one that actually reaches out and changes their life. It means so much. So bring them. You can send them, but really bring them. Make it like a date night, or maybe not. Well, if it's somebody you're trying to date, bring them, and I'll pay for all the food. If it's just a friend, tell them that you want to go on a bro date or a chick date or whatever, and let's actually make it fun, because it's a really fun time. It's awesome, but bring them to this. So it's June 29th. You can text our office number about it. Is this a text dinner thing, Zaina?
It is.
Is it dinner? Like exactly the right word, dinner?
Yeah.
Zaina, is the text word dinner?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it's not like, because sometimes we change it and we turn it into like something fun, like awesome dinner or something. So just text.
It's going to be awesome.
Okay, text awesome. No, so text dinner to our office number, the one that you get like confirmations and stuff from. Text dinner to that if you have somebody. That doesn't mean that you're confirming that yet. Like, obviously you have to go talk to them and whatnot, but text that so we have an idea of how many people, because We can really only fit about 25 in here before it gets a little bit crazy, and so we keep that as a like a smaller event because I want to be able to talk to each person individually. So that's an awesome thing. Okay, this was a lot. The advanced plan is the best nutrition plan I can think of for just if you've got gut issues, get on the advanced plan for 2 months, see how you do. If you need longer, do it longer. But if you know your gut's jacked up, get the 4R protocol. If you know and can make it happen, let's test first, and then we'll go through protocols after we actually get results back from that, okay? All those things, you'll talk to my team up at the front desk. And there's a lot more of you than them, so be gentle and nice. When you stand up, everybody sometimes wants to like help and do stuff. It's actually almost easiest if you just don't try to move chairs. I'll take care of it, okay? Some of you, it's like I try to stack the chairs. They're hard to stack actually, and they end up stacking awkwardly and stuff. I'll take care of all that, okay? Lastly, let me pray for us, and we'll be done here. God, we're just so grateful that we even have the freedom to have events and meetings like this. Ultimately, we want your name praised in our office. We know that all the good in our lives comes from you, that every person here is a child of you, and we just pray that your blessing is over their life, and that they also come to you and understand who Jesus actually is. We just pray for safety for every person getting home. I pray for their health, their healing. I know it's weird, but I pray over their gut and their bowel movements that they're awesome. I pray over just every part of their health, their finances, their relationships. God, bless people's relationships in this room. We live in a world where divorce is normal. Don't let that be this group. Let people meld relationships. Let healing happen on a level that we've never seen before where you get the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome.